Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be a hero? Is it about the powers, the costume, the fame? Or is it something much deeper, something that resides in the heart? Today, we're diving into the story of a hero who defines this very question, a young man from Queens named Peter Parker. Before the world knew him as Spider-Man, he was just a kid, maybe a bit of an outcast, but brimming with dreams and a brilliant mind. He was relatable, someone you might know, navigating the halls of high school, dealing with bullies, and nursing a crush on the girl next door, Mary Jane Watson. His life was ordinary until one extraordinary moment. A field trip, a flash of movement, and a single bite from a genetically altered spider. In that instant, Peter Parker's world was spun into a new and terrifying reality. He didn't wake up wanting to be a hero. He woke up changed. Suddenly, he could climb walls. His senses were dialed up to 11, and he possessed a strength he couldn't comprehend. At first, it was exciting, a secret power that made him feel special. He saw it as a ticket to win money, to impress MJ, to finally get a leg up in a world that often seemed to push him down. But he made a selfish choice, a mistake born of youthful arrogance. He let a robber escape, thinking it wasn't his problem. That single moment of inaction led to a tragedy that would haunt him forever, the loss of his beloved Uncle Ben. The man who had been a father to him was gone, and it was his fault. Uncle Ben's final words became Peter's lifelong creed. With great power comes great responsibility. This wasn't a choice anymore. It was a debt, a promise to use his gifts for others, so that no one else would suffer because of his failure to act. And so, Spider-Man was born. Not from a desire for glory, but from a place of profound guilt and a burning need for redemption. He stitched together a costume, built his own web shooters, and swung into the concrete canyons of New York City. The city saw a masked marvel, a new hero swinging through the skyline. But behind the mask was still Peter Parker, a teenager struggling to juggle this new, immense burden with the ordinary demands of life. He was constantly late for class, his grades started to slip, and he struggled to hold down a part-time job. Every time he chose to be Spider-Man, Peter Parker had to sacrifice a piece of his own life. The girl he loved, Mary Jane, was right there. But how could he bring her into his dangerous world? The closer he got to her, the bigger the target on her back became. This constant tug-of-war between his two lives was relentless. He yearned for a normal life, for a simple date with MJ, for a quiet evening without the police sirens. There were moments when the weight was too much to bear. He even considered giving it all up, throwing the suit in the trash, and just being Peter Parker. For a brief, blissful moment, he was free. His grades improved, he could finally see MJ's play, and life felt normal. But the city doesn't wait for a hero to be ready. Crime doesn't take a vacation. As he walked away from an alley where someone was being attacked, he heard the sirens and saw the fear in people's eyes. He realized that his power wasn't just a gift. It was a responsibility he couldn't simply discard. He couldn't stand by and do nothing while he had the power to help. The choice was never really his to make. Just as Peter was grappling with the weight of his own identity, a new, terrifying shadow fell over New York. Norman Osborn, a brilliant but ruthless scientist and the father of his best friend, Harry, subjected himself to an experimental performance enhancer. The formula granted him superhuman strength, but it fractured his mind, unleashing a malevolent, cackling alter ego, the Green Goblin. Riding a high-tech glider and armed with an arsenal of pumpkin bombs, the Goblin wasn't just a criminal. He was chaos incarnate. He didn't want money. He wanted to challenge Spider-Man, to push him to his limits, to prove that everyone, even a hero, has a breaking point. The Goblin saw Spider-Man not as a protector, but as an equal, a fellow god among mortals, and he tried to tempt him, offering him a partnership to rule the city. The battle between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin became a battle for the very soul of New York. But for Peter, it was deeply personal. The Goblin discovered his secret identity, turning his crusade into a psychological war. He attacked Peter's frail Aunt May, forcing him to confront the terrifying reality that his loved ones were now pawns in the Goblin's twisted game. The ultimate test came on the Queensboro Bridge. The Green Goblin presented Peter with an impossible choice: save Mary Jane, the woman he loved, or a cable car full of innocent children. He held them both, dangling them over the river, forcing Peter to choose who would live and who would die. It was the cruelest test imaginable, designed to break his spirit. But the Goblin underestimated not just Spider-Man, but the people of New York. As Peter struggled to save both, The citizens on the bridge rallied behind him. They threw things at the goblin, shouting, "You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us." In that moment, Peter wasn't alone. He was their hero, and they were his strength. He managed to save them all, but the fight was far from over. The final confrontation was brutal and raw. It wasn't just a fight between two superpowered beings. It was a battle of ideologies. The goblin's nihilistic belief that everyone is inherently selfish versus Peter's unwavering faith in the goodness of people. In a desperate final act, the goblin tried to impale Peter with his glider. Using his spider sense, Peter leaped out of the way and the glider struck Norman instead, ending his reign of terror. As Norman lay dying, the goblin mask came off, revealing the face of his best friend's father. With his last breath, he pleaded with Peter, "Don't tell Harry." Peter was left with yet another terrible burden. He had to carry the secret of Norman's death, knowing it would forever place a wall between him and his best friend. At Norman's funeral, Peter stands apart, watching Mary Jane. She confesses her love for him, for the man behind the mask. It's everything he's ever wanted to hear. He could have it all, the girl, a semblance of a normal life. But he looks at her, his heart breaking, and tells her they can only be friends. He understands now, more clearly than ever, the sacrifice required. To love her is to endanger her. To be with her is to paint a target on her back for every future enemy who will inevitably come for Spider-Man. This isn't the reluctant choice of a teenager anymore. It's the conscious, painful, and voluntary decision of a hero. He is choosing to shoulder this burden alone to protect the people he loves. He has fully accepted his destiny. As he walks away from the funeral, he hears the familiar call of the sirens. He ducks into an alley, sheds his civilian clothes, and pulls on the mask. The final shot is of Spider-Man swinging through the city, a solitary figure against the vast urban landscape. He is no longer the kid who was bitten by a spider. He is a symbol, a guardian. He has embraced his great power, and with it, the immense, unending responsibility. His journey is one of sacrifice, loss, and profound love. It teaches us that a true hero isn't defined by their powers, but by their choices, by their willingness to put others before themselves, no matter the personal cost. Peter Parker's true power isn't climbing walls or his spider sense. It's his unbreakable spirit and the love that guides his every action. He is, and always will be, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the heart of a hero, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories like this. Let me know in the comments what makes Spider-Man so special to you. Until next time.